Hi, comrade.
What's up?
Yo. So this is my attempt to create a live chat. No, that we can talk about anything. I hope to do this
Oh, will
weekly.
you record this or something?
I'm actually recording. But this is a total mess right now. Hi everybody. So anyway, this is actually the plan is to make it more a bit like the DPA open mic, but yeah, but without showing the face. But the problem with not showing faces is that a lot of security risk, so it has to be only recorded. It cannot be live streamed. So yeah, that's the main thing. Hi Kiko. So we can talk about anything. We can talk about the server. We can talk about the geopolitics, Ukraine war, or yeah, or simply just ask me questions.
Check the ticket.
Hi, sorry.
Yeah, can you check the ticket?
Check the ticket.
There is complaint.
Complain. Your complaint.
Yeah. Check
Okay.
it. I have to go now.
Yeah, I'll check it later, man. Yeah. No, the thing is, if they have multiple accounts, yeah, the plan is to. For me, my plan is to let them have many accounts. If they want to make it trouble themselves to create alternate accounts.
Yeah, but they are using to escape my blocking.
Yeah, then you just block them more. They create one account, it takes a lot more effort than you blocking one person. It's just 2 clicks away to block a person. Hi Johari. Hi Replacement. Hi Fooster. Yo.
Hello.
Hello.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh, I can hear myself. Oh, is that your attic?
I'll come back in around 10 minutes, okay?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, what do you plan to talk about? So, what would you want to personally talk about?
Oh, it can be anything. So it's a bit like the DPA open mic. There's actually no fixed like topics though that we must talk about. It's simply just chit chat, that we can talk about the things happening over the week. Like the peace deal between Azerbaijan, Armenia. We can talk about the Ukraine war situation, like for example the meeting at Alaska, or we can just talk about server nonsense, about how Fidel is creating a rebellion to try to subvert the server and try to destroy it, or what happened to MostyIvy between him and me and the server. It can be anything. So,
how do you
First
launch
time I
a
heard
Discord
Alaska, I
rebellion?
thought it's a joke.
How do you launch a Discord rebellion?
It happens.
do I want a Discord rebellion?
No, how do you launch one? Like you said, someone is trying to launch a rebellion.
So what happened? So since we are talking about server things first, so I can share what happened. So what happened is that MostyIvy is my head mod. So actually, what most people do not know, or actually everybody do not know, is that he's a paid staff. So I actually pay him a salary of $100 a month. So he helped me take care of the server because I'm busy. And I have basically the rules that I set and I told him to try to implement is basically the rules I'm setting now. It's exactly the same thing. So it's just that he feels like he wanted to do it his way. He wanted to be a bit more lenient. He don't want the people the troublemakers to stay because they create engagements and everything. So I just let him do whatever he wants because if I'm going to use him, then I'm going to just trust him. So that's what happened. So but the problem is 1 month ago we got a server strike, right? So Discord striked us. Then I have to intervene because prior to that I already seen the server getting more and more, I think, chaotic. Like especially people chit-chatting in the gulags, and it's like you're not supposed to be chit-chatting in the prison, right? The prison shouldn't be the gathering place. That doesn't make sense. No, but the thing is because of the culture of the server, it became it became like, a joke, all these rules become a joke. So, and I believe that because of this situation, and a lot of people complains to me actually directly about, MostyIvy, or complain about the situation with the modding and everything. Like, most of the time I just ignore it largely. I just push it to MostyIvy. But, eventually, when the strike comes, I have to intervene and implement the rules properly. So if not, then we do not know when the next strike will happen, because if the rules are always so, so lenient, then we're going to get strike again, for sure, 100%. So, and then the two person that contacted me was Prigozhin and the Octobre. So Octobre is the one that these two of them messaged me, and they both write very long message about the situation with the modding, and they are all worried. They both are worried about the strike and everything. So I just promoted. I told MostyIvy to promote both of them. Then at the time there was also one more guy. There was under the mod trial mod. There was I say that and then he was complaining when is his trial ending? He had been trialing for 3 months, and then MostyIvy actually don't want to promote him. So I told him to just promote him. I forgot what that guy name. So in the end, then he got pissed because he trialed for 3 months, and then the other two person didn't trial and got into mod. Then he got angry, and then he quit the server. He's like, what the fuck happened? Then he blamed me for it. He's like, I'm the one that saved you from trial mod hell. MostyIvy is not the one that saved you from trial mod hell. I'm the one. He put you there, and I'm the one that saved you. And then he scolded me, and then he left. Yeah, whatever, man. So that's the drama. And then because I promoted October was not very well liked by a lot of people. But so because he's pro-Ukraine, and then pro-Ukrainian people have very very warped way of looking at the Ukraine war. Like, a lot of the fundamental realities are all different from reality. And then of course then they keep doubling down based on the information that they see. A lot of them is actually misinformation, propaganda coming from the European countries, because they are trying to encourage the war, right? They want the war to fight on, so they have to make things sound much better than it actually is. So the pro-Ukrainian guys, of course, if they believe in it, so then they get ridiculed by the pro-Russians or the neutral guys, which is not a surprise. But the thing is that MostyIvy, he himself is actually a pro-Russian, but then he's a bit neutral. But the way how he managed to make it, like, as long as you're pro-Ukrainian, you post things that the people don't agree, then you become a troll. So they start to put labels like you're a troll or something, then to demonize these people. So October is one of those that are a bit more patient. So he fight back, October fights back, and then he throw back. Then and basically, a lot of people just don't like him. But then when I modded him, he has been doing the job mostly pretty well. But he's a bit uptight, a little bit uptight. Like he went to mod some of the memes that, like, he disagreed. He feel like the memes are breaking the term of service, and then I was like, what? Like, no, that is not. The one that one of the kitten guy, he posted a meme of the guy scratching the tummy of the hedgehog. Then he thinks that is masturbating the hedgehog, or he said that that's a hamster. I said, first thing, that is not a hamster, that's a hedgehog. Second, that's not where the genitals is. That's actually the leg, the thigh. If you look at the other side of the leg, the body, that's actually where the leg is. That's not where the genitals is. The genitals is actually way more in the bottom. So it's like, he's a bit uptight. Yeah. So I said, you're getting a bit like Kiko, because Kiko is very uptight. Kiko is very very sensitive. And he's becoming more like Kiko, and he take offense. But it's okay. Yeah. So the idea is just to make the server go back to where it was before I pass it over to MostyIvy to help me manage, because I remember in the early days, right, the server is very productive. Like, the interaction, the discussion is serious. We talk good things, and people try to be nice to each other. It's a great community. I think by the time when I take over back, I think I intervene. I think the server has become like a troll farm. Like the loudest people and the people who are most active are the people who like to troll and bully other people. And I just don't like it. And these people are led by Fidel. who if for those who watch DPA Open Mind he's Iranian Putin. So he's very rich, and then he think that he throw money and then he can dictate things, and then he extremely disagree with October's modding, and then he just led a rebellion and tried to leave the server. So a lot of the so-called the more active guys, the higher rank guys, all left the server. And from my calculation, it's actually only 30 something people. So it's not like the people who anti my reforms are saying that it's 300, but actually it's 30. I look from the the statistics, the analytics only show 30 plus. But yeah, but I think the past 1 year or two, the people who have been very bullish, they like to bully people, troll people, and ridicule people for their opinions. I think it destroys the server. Most of the normal people, the normal human beings, they just like, I'm not gonna take this shit, man. And then they leave the server. So because it's just not it's just not human. It's a very online kind of like the Twitter level kind of environment, rather than something that you can really talk about things, something serious. So yeah, so I decided to just change things, and I just modded a lot of people, and yeah, we have a new batch of mods. Although I'm still thinking maybe we need more mods if the current mods are not active. But anyway, yeah, that's the story. MostyIvy story got other things, like he conducted espionage, like he secretly gave another user admin powers. So admin powers, actually what admin powers is that they can do anything in the server except for deleting the server. So they can literally change the name of the server, they can change every single thing. They just cannot touch me, and they cannot delete the server. So he gave another person the admin power without telling me, and then he pretended to be away from the server. So he actually was all the way in the server, he was watching everything, and then he was just keeping quiet. So he don't even engage with the mods. Then he just he's just silently protesting and conduct his own rebellion of sort. Then in the end, what happened is that he actually, when I removed Kiko from mod, MostyIvy secretly, deliberately gave permission to Kiko specifically as a user, permission to go back into the moderator channel. And then he pretended that he didn't do it. And he said, there's some errors or something. Some bots put it there. And then he resolved it, so-called. But what happens is that when Kiko left, we all the moderators was like sharing their opinions and everything. So there's a lot of classified, confidential information, and Kiko was deliberately let in. So that is not okay. Yeah, and then I only discovered it later, because one of the moderators flagged there was a user somehow having admin power, which is then I went to check, and then the moderator told me that maybe you can check the Discord audit log. So I checked the audit log, then I discovered there's all these things that MostyIvy was doing behind my back. Yeah, so I removed him and asked him to explain. Then he don't want to explain, so no. Yeah, then that's it. Then he quit the server. So that's the story.
Wyatt, you should do G50 clearance lah.
The thing is, it's very lame. Like, Discord is not that big of a thing. Like, DPA forum on Telegram is actually just as big as the Discord. DPA chat alone, on Telegram is also as big as the Discord. Discord is not that big of a thing. But the thing is, the politics here is ridiculous. Like, why the hell people need to quit the server over a moderator? The moderator is there to do a job. They're not supposed to be a glamorous role, but under MostyIvy it became a glamorous thing. Then it become like like as if it's like some kind of a very powerful position. But actually, the mods under MostyIvy was not powerful at all. They have no power. MostyIvy is the only one with all the powers. Like, he actually don't give the powers to the mods. So the mods actually is powerless. Today, the mods is actually way more powerful than it was under the MostyIvy time. I gave a lot more permission to them to do things. So yeah, so it's bizarre. A lot of things happening. Then all these people who left the server, they have their own imagination of what's happening without talking to me. Then it's like, then why you join the Discord? This is a DPA Discord. People join because they support me and my work. And it's like because of a moderator that you don't like, you quit the server. It's like, oh my god, the priority is all over the place. So yeah. So that's what it is.
It's like in forums. It's always a big ego game. People can't handle it, and then
Yeah. But the thing is, they don't even show their face. Like you're nobody, you know. Like the people who have been in the server.
yeah. That would be another idea. Like do a VC channel just for people to fight it out and call it Thunderdome.
So
You don't have to show their face, but they can yell at each other and leave the Discord text alone.
yeah, it's really silly because like a lot of people, they are in the server for a long time, but generally I still do not know who are they. They're just a username to me. They know a lot of the members has been around for like 2 years or what. But the thing is, they think that being in the server for 2 years means something. The reality is that I don't even know who are you. You're just stranger to me. Unless you show your face, you come on DPA open mic, and then I know you personally, you become a friend. Then it's something special, right? You know, I know who you are. I can trust you. But everybody is anonymous in Discord, and then it's like they expect that they think that they have a lot of power just because you were here for a long time. That's not reality. That's not how the world works. Then they got surprised when they attacked me, and then I kicked them out of the server. It's like it does nothing to me. This is one of the smaller communities that I've managed before. It's not like the very big one. I managed like 10,000 people communities before on Facebook groups. Yeah. And similarly, I do battles with activists, because the group is a hamster group. So, it's when I was managing, it was the largest hamster group in Singapore. So, I was managing 10,000 over people. I'm fighting, hamster activists. You never even heard of this kind of thing, but, when you're in the community, it's funny that there's animal activists that's focusing on hamsters. And they expect you to treat hamsters like as if they are humans. Then I always just fight with them, and then to the point where the NGO in Singapore, the one that was they are the hamster animal rights or whatever hamster group. They call it the Hamster Society of Singapore. Even their committee, the leadership knows me, like they know me by name, because I'm one of their big enemies, because I always go against what they are advocating, because I always say humans before hamsters, not hamsters before humans.
In South America, they eat cuy, this bigger version of a hamster. They barbecue them. They're tasty, actually, with a potato.
The thing is, it's
crazy,
right? No, but the thing is, it's crazy because ultimately the pet is a pet. You can have a pet chicken and you will never eat the pet chicken. But then if you farm the chickens, you'll eat the farm chickens. It's different. Like a pet is a pet. Of other animals, you don't give a damn. Hamster is a rodent. Then there's also rats and mice in the neighborhood. Why you don't care about their welfare? Why do you must care about this other rodent just because it look cute? Aren't you a hypocrite? So only cute life matters. If you're not cute, you are a rat, then you deserve to die. You should put rat poison and kill them. Like this. No, I can't stand this kind of hypocrisy. So, and I told them, if you're gonna have like if you want to introduce a pet to your kids, then hamster is one of the best, because the hamster have shorter life. It's easy to care for. It's a good way to teach children or anyone to learn how to take care of pets. You don't immediately go into rabbits and cats and dogs, because the commitment is huge. But but this all these hamster activists, oh my freaking god. But then I kind of didn't do much about for that community anymore ever since I started DPA, because I have no time. Yeah. Hi Tom, you're back. Yeah, so just a short chit-chat session. I think maybe an hour or so. Then maybe until another half an hour, we just chit-chat, random chit-chat. Then I need to prepare for the real DPA open mic. Yeah. I haven't.
I thought this is the real DP open mic.
No. This is not the real one. This is the pirated version.
Hello.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, this is the pirated version. Yeah,
Yo, Wyatt, I just noticed you and me just live nearby.
really? I
Yeah.
stay Anchorvale. Where you stay?
Oh, you say Anchorvale. Okay, give me a
Yeah.
moment. I got something.
Oh, okay. Hi, Ardox. Hi, Lorenz. Hi, Tech. Yeah, this is not the real TP Open Mic. This is the fake one. You see, that's why I wear a singlet. No, if not, I will be more respectful. I wear a shirt.
Right. Oh, you stay Anchorvale, more in Rivervale.
Oh, you stay Rivervale?
Yep. quite
Across the
quite
river,
near
right?
to the... Yes.
Rivervale is the Sengkang east, right? West, right?
Yeah, near Bangkok there also.
Oh, no, then you are further south. I really hate all these Vale names. You know, it's very confusing.
I know.
Like, just call it Avenue 1 or 2 or 3. You know, like, yeah.
You got Fernvale, Rivervale.
Fernvale is the Sengkang West. So, your Rivervale is east. You're on the east. I'm considered Central West. I'm beside the Sengkang Riverside Park, so that's where I stay.
There's a big reservoir there, right?
There's a there's a
river.
There's a lake. My house actually face the river, face the park.
Oh, at least better.
Yeah, I used to stay at Hougang, so you know. So I moved here.
Hougang trash.
No, it's just old. It's not trash. It's
Yeah,
nice.
it's very old. No, it's very old. Super old, man, down there.
What's super old? Wait till you go to Bedok, man.
Oh my god.
Hougang is not that old. No, it's not the oldest place.
Have you seen the National Day rally? The National Day yesterday?
Oh, I see the NDP. I see the parade. The parade is very good. This year's is so good. I think it's so emotional. I teared up, you know, when I watch some of the stories. Because they do the stories, especially, you know, like the old days. You know, the Malay grandfather, you know, pick up the cup and the shelf to repair and everything, you know. Oh, that's so emotional. It's like the you know how far Singapore have come and all these
Can't
things.
believe it, man.
Yeah, so that's very emotional. I think this year's is very good. There's no segments that is fluffy. You know, sometimes, you know, there's segment that is meaningless, like very fluff. This year's one is very good. I like this year's one. But I didn't hear the Prime Minister's rally though. Did he say something meaningful? I don't know.
Just the same stuff, but G60 Jubilee as usual.
Yeah. So that's why I didn't hear that. Because he just stepped because we just had an election, so you know the plans is all set. So I didn't feel the need to like really.
You should see the Ahmad column though in the estate. It's quite nice.
Yeah, I fell asleep. I was sleeping.
Oh my god!
When I was thinking, I want to watch the aeroplanes fly by, the Diamond, the F-16s, at 6:00. Then I woke up. It's at 7. So then I went to eat just now.
Oh.
I thought you're like Malaysian, you know, all this while.
No lah, Singaporean lah. Serve my NS already. Allow.
Yeah. If we continue to speak Singlish, right? I think they don't know what we're talking about.
I know, right?
It's funny when I read the comments, right, on YouTube. They think that no, your Singlish is very, very bad. I cannot understand. Then I just comment. I haven't even started speaking Singlish yet.
Singlish is a better version of English. You know?
Yeah, it's the more efficient version of Singlish.
Sometimes you cannot control it.
Test
our ears by talking Singlish.
You sure? Are you sure?
The problem with Singlish is that it mixes a lot of different languages. So you guys don't understand the various languages that we speak in Singapore. You don't understand what it said because it mixes Hokkien, Mandarin, Malay. Yeah, somehow no Tamil.
Yeah, I know. Wait, I give you an example. Want to makan or not replacement?
Yeah, makan replacement.
You want makan or not? Makan what?
Does that come from seafaring or history, or where does that come from?
It's because we have
like the more different influences because people come here from all over the area because of trade, or how was it?
Yeah, it was because of trade. So the original the aborigine is the Malays. So the Malays were here. Then, but of course, the Malays is a bit ambiguous, like because Indonesians is also Malays in a sense. So we were there is actually what is that? What is that called? Sumatran people moved here, and then there's also the Johorians, and then they're all Malay-ish ethnic group. So they were here, and then they have this settlement. Then the British came, they built a trading post. They make up some shit, and then someone suddenly become a sultan, become the king. Yeah.
That's how they operate.
Yeah, because there was actually another sultan already in Johor, but it's like they don't want to talk to them, so it's like, you're now the sultan. Then he just point out, and then another person become a sultan, and then they formed. So the British created a trading port, so they needed so they started to make it a port, it's a free trade port. So they bring the Indians over because they colonized India, right? So they have a lot of Indians to come here to do the work. And then the Chinese is always at war. So in China, it's always horrible life. So a lot of people left China to look for a better life. And then they came to Singapore to look for work. They look for another way out because China is always at war. There's always starvation and all sorts of shit. So in the end, we have three major ethnic groups. So you have the Malays, the Chinese, and the Indians. And then you have the Eurasians, or the Europeans. So the Europeans, they intermarry with the locals, with the Chinese or the Malays. So you have Eurasians. Yeah. So you end up you have like four. So in Singapore we have four major races. So it's the Chinese, Indian, Malay, and the Eurasians. And
which Kuan Yew?
Lee Kuan Yew is Chinese, but actually Lee Kuan Yew's heritage is not Chinese. He's called Peranakan. Peranakan is actually the early Chinese that came with the Ming fleet. So that you have the Ming treasure fleet, right? With Zheng He, the massive Maga fleet that went from China and go all the way to Africa. So during those days, a lot of the Chinese, actually the soldiers and whatnot, they decided to stay in the area. And then they intermarry with the Malays in the region. And then so they are very unique. They have Chinese-ish customs, but they speak Malay. So they are known as the Peranakans. So they are like a unique ethnic group on its own. So Lee Kuan Yew is actually a Peranakan. So which is why his Malay is actually way better than his Chinese. He speaks perfect Malay. Perfect.
I only saw him one time when I was young. So
yeah. My
Anyway.
my best friend, very funny. My best friend actually went to the toilet, he pee. So you have the urinal, right? He pee. Then suddenly Lee Kuan Yew came in with his bodyguards, and then Lee Kuan Yew stand beside him to pee. And then the bodyguards around. Then he said his pee cannot come out. He said the aura is too strong, he can't pee. That is so funny. That must be so stressful, man.
DPA, by the way, I'm back. So what is the current topic?
Yeah, we're talking about Singapore, actually. We're talking about Singapore and how come Singlish is so complicated, with so many different languages, because we have a lot of races, and we all speak, we hear each other's words often enough, we know how to use the words. And actually Singapore is also very interesting. The Malays was actually the smallest minority of the three main groups, right? Malay, Indian, Chinese. Malay was actually the smallest group. Then what happened was that when India got independence, India became independent, right? A lot of Indians actually went back to India. So as a result, the Indian population dropped all the way to the Malays level, or even lesser than the Malays. So if I not remember wrongly, in the earlier days, the Indian population is as much as the Chinese. It was like 40%. Then the Malays was like 20%. So there was a lot of Indians in Singapore. Then the Indian independence, everybody moved back. So I bet they regretted moving back.
But thinking about it, I think we were accidental as a nation, though, to be honest.
100%.
We were not supposed to be independent.
Lee Kuan Yew wanted to conquer the whole of Malaysia. So that's the reason why we got kicked out.
Why did your ancestors move to Singapore?
Because China is a shit place. If you really want to know. China, if you look at China history, is always at war. Like always. There's always at war, there's always hunger, always sufferings. Constantly.
You just really hate China, dude. And
it's not like hate China. I'm telling you, it's a real thing. This is a real story. Why do you think there's Chinese in Singapore? you're not going to find Americans moving to other countries. Very, very few will do that. You'll find a lot of the world want to move to America. Why? Because America is a great country. In China, they are consistently hemorrhaging populations. People are constantly moving out. Singapore is full of China people right now. But why?
I agree.
If China is really that good, why people move out? It's because it's not really that good. Putting LED lights on buildings, everybody can do. Once you put LED light, your whole room also looks very nice. It doesn't mean that it's very high tech. But that is the tactic. Because China, they need to create the image, because it's a Chinese thing. Everything is about face. Everything is about image. So you need to create a good image. So at least that gives you a head start. And it works. For China, it works. But inside of China, they have a lot of problems. But honestly, I don't really give a damn about the problems. I tell you, I'm not anti-China. I'm anti-CCP. But mainly it's because of their foreign policy. It's not about them. If I want to hate on the CCP, just because they're CCP, then I have to hate on a lot of places. I need to hate the North Koreans. I need to hate the Iranians, maybe even the Russians. But for what? It's not my problem. How the North Koreans live their life is not my problem. How the Chinese have suffering, have their houses getting washed away by floods every year, it's not my problem. Every year they have to buy a new car because the car constantly get flooded away. It's not my problem. I don't hate CCP for that. I don't like CCP mainly because of the foreign policies, because they are a threat to my country. That is the main reason. Because we are such a good friend to them, and they treat us like shit. So yeah, Johari is Singaporean. Johari can confirm my words.
Yeah, man. I mean, to be honest, what I say is true. We helped them a lot in the past. Last time they were cut off. Then Lee Kuan Yew went there. We implement, we share our ideas, and what do we receive in return?
Yeah, they
still get shit on.
They stepped us in the back, man. They took our armored vehicles, when it's not supposed to go to China.
The copy.
Okay, let me reply by saying two things. So first of all, China for a long time was pretty underdeveloped because of the century of humiliation and the Cultural Revolution greatly forward. So a lot of Chinese moved away, but now things are different. I think if you look at the city like Shenzhen or Beijing, Tianjin, Shanghai, I don't really think you can call those places underdeveloped.
Yeah.
Sure, a lot of China is still poor, but they are still advancing. They're still making progress and becoming more and more developed, and this is undeniable.
True.
I think that most people right now, most Chinese, which are moving away in the 2020s and 2010s, I think those are mostly just oppositional, people, like liberals. Yeah, and that's my first answer. And regarding foreign policy, I think that China is on pretty good terms with other countries which are good with China, like including Singapore and Vietnam. Even Vietnam right now has pretty good relations with China. I don't see where exactly the problem is.
So the problem is, let's say, for example, you look at the relationship between United States and the rest of the Latin America. Yeah, that is the kind of relationship that China is looking for. And every country in the region feel that. That is the main reason why everyone in the country is militarizing, because we cannot allow China to have a Monroe doctrine in the Asia Pacific. Because if they have it, then we will suffer. We will suffer just like the Central Americans or the South Americans suffer with the United States. That is the main reason. So that's why I know people are seems to be very confused when I say, they think that I'm anti-China, and then they start to do this whataboutism. They're like, what about United States? What about United States? I never say that United States is great United States is also an asshole to the American countries, in the Central America. It's the same. The thing is, China wants that as well for themselves in the Asia Pacific, particularly in Southeast Asia. Because Southeast Asia is a bit like the Central America. It's full of islands and they want to have the kind of control like United States have, so that they feel very secure. China, Chinese, right? As an ethnic group, we have this DNA, this cultural DNA that goes back thousands of years. We are always insecure. Chinese is one of the most insecure people in the world. We are never secure. That's the reason why culturally as Chinese, we save a lot of money. We are insane about always talking about earning money. We are insane about money. We are insane about saving money. And you can see this culturally the thing, because across history, through thousands of years, we are constantly attacked by the barbarians in the north, which is the Mongols or the Xiongnu's or the Manchurians or whatever. The groups, they always change names. We are always invaded. And then within China itself, there's always civil war. Because of freaking stupid first emperor who decided to unite the whole of China. So now the concept of a united China becomes like a curse. It's actually a curse for China. So the imagine in Europe, there's a concept of a united Europe. And then it's like every country must unite the whole of Europe, or they feel like they're missing some part of their body. So
that's
imagine
what they want the permission.
Then the thing is, in Europe is not power. Obsessed. You see, in Europe it's not obsessed. Everybody just look at Rome and then they just, wow, Rome is so great. They're able to do this impossible thing that no one else was able to do ever again.
They're starting to get there in Europe by banning opposition leaders or whatever, and then
yeah. But the thing is,
do the election over and over again.
But they're trying, you see. But the thing is,
kind of weird though. We didn't have that open before.
Yeah, but it's not a curse yet.
Behind.
It's not a curse yet. You see, why?
No.
How does it become a curse?
It's starting to get weird.
Like a curse is a bit like what the Jews have with Jerusalem. No, they're like with the land of Israel. It's a curse now because they must stay there. It's like it's in their DNA. They have no choice. The Chinese is the same thing. They have no choice. They must unite the whole of China or they feel incomplete. And the thing is, they even conquered places that is actually not Chinese. And then this area of China is getting bigger and bigger because of the Manchus conquered so much place. The Manchus conquered the Tibetans, the Xinjiang region, the whole of Mongolia, and then now the Chinese claims everything. So China, when the Chinese Communist Party won the Civil War, they went to invade into Xinjiang, into Tibet, and try to conquer everything. They only failed Mongolia because Mongolia was backed by.
Go back and forth between different states.
Sorry?
Many times, right? Tibet was... Yeah.
So if actually in history, Tibet was rare, they are at most a protectorate. They are very, very seldom part of the Chinese Empire. Very seldom. They were always their own empire, or they have a lot of kingdoms spread out across the land. And then it's like, because they are a very sparse and very hard place to live. So no people really wants it. No. It's a modern theory that you need to control the source of the river. It's a modern kind of thinking. Like this 100 years. So now then you have the problem between India and China over the Himalayas, because it's the same thing because of the river, how the river flows. So before 100 years ago, I don't think it was a concept that you need to control the root, the source of the river. So China.
It was more religious than with the river, for other countries.
Yeah, it's just but then it was never really a Chinese land. Tibetans are Tibetans. They are their own thing. So just like the Uyghurs are their own thing. How can Uyghurs be Chinese? They look totally different from Chinese. They are totally different race. But over time they're going to become more Chinese because they speak Chinese now. So another 100 years they'll be like Chinese. Like now today, I have no freaking idea how a Manchurian look like. A Manchu and a Chinese looks the same now. I can't tell the difference because of the Qing Empire. They have interbred, the intermarriage and everything, to the point where they all look the same to me. I can't tell a difference between a Chinese and a Manchurian, but I can tell a difference between a Chinese and a Mongolian. Mongolians still look different. Maybe the Han Chinese, don't want to marry into the plains, and drink goat milk every day or drink horse milk. I don't know.
Okay. Let me reply now to the stuff you said. First of all, if China was a threat to everyone in its own region, why are countries, even China's former enemies, right now cozying up to China? Like you can look at South Korea's new president, Lee Jae-moon, who recently said, "Why should it matter so much to us if China and Taiwan engage in conflict? We can CC to China and CC to Taiwan and get along with both." And he said also that cooperation with the United States and Japan is essential, but we should not put all our eggs in one basket. So you can see here that this guy does not want to side with the U.S. against China. He wants a pragmatic approach and have good relations with both China and the U.S. And this is a stark contrast to his predecessors, who in the first half of the 2020s actually had a very aggressive policy against China and North Korea. If China was such a massive threat, why is South Korea becoming so pro China right now? Same goes for Japan. Japan said that they won't participate in any trade bloc, which
There's a good
is
reason for
in
that, though.
isolation of China. Huh?
I think that's the Trump administration is pushing them to do that. They have to put the eggs somewhere else because of tariffs and whatever. They're pushing them to do that.
Yes, that's one of the biggest reasons,
And
of course.
I don't see what the outcome is of that, or
Okay,
what
but
Trump thinks he's going to do with the tariffs. But
Isn't
actually,
that the exact opposite of the point he was making, right? Which is that Japan and Korea are actually pro-China, and that they
yeah, but they're
refuse to
getting
join
closer to
any
China.
trade agreement. right? So you're saying he's
well,
getting closer to China. Exactly.
well,
They're
let me correct
refusing to
you.
join any agreement
They are not exactly.
that
They are
doesn't
not.
include China in it.
Let me correct you. What does pro-China mean? We have to first clear that up. Number Sky, how would you define
I think
pro-China?
he means trade and not political. Well, I think that it's more about trade.
The thing is that South Korea's
Who's
new
the biggest
president.
trading partner in the area? China, probably. I don't know.
Listen,
I don't know about
so
percentages. So
listen, listen. The thing is that South Korea's new president and the new Japanese government are not really like pro-China in the sense that they would even even want to fight the U.S. against the U.S. together with China. They're just pragmatists and want to have good relations with both, especially because right now there is a big threat coming from the U.S. With their tariffs, which makes China also be a more reliable partner in general. And Vietnam is especially interesting because they right now a North Vietnamese. So North Vietnam is historically more influenced by China, and thus has also more pro-China politicians. They're completely moving towards a completely pro-China policy against the U.S. Like again, if China was such a massive threat, they will not be calling up to the U.S. To China.
Okay,
You can reply now.
I can explain why. If you are Vietnam, you're bordering China, which have the one of the biggest army in the world, and you cannot have a policy that, okay, I'm going to do a Ukraine on China. That's what Ukraine and the Baltic states do to Russia, right? You have a very freaking powerful country just next to you with a lot of resources, a lot of trade you can do with them, but you decided to not trade with them. Then you're just being stupid. You do not know what the hell you're doing. The thing is, by trading, by continue to have a good relationship, you prevent war. That is the main thing. Because it's not that they trust the Chinese. Is that they have no choice. So if you look at the Vietnamese foreign policy, if you look at it really carefully, they bought missiles from India. They are literally pro-Russia. They work very closely with Russia, and then they basically agree with everything that Trump wants in trade. They are one of the first country to talk to the United States. They accept all the demands, and they double down on the control of transshipment. They use the Trump's pressure as the excuse to crack down on transshipment, because transshipment you don't earn money from it. Transshipment, the money don't go to the country actually. because there's basically almost no work is done in the country. It's just come in, change the labor, and ship out. So Vietnam is not pro-China as what you imagine. Every country in the region near China have to be friendly with China. Because if not, then you just make an enemy out of nothing, which is what Philippines is doing, which is why a lot of people is very critical of Philippines but then Philippines is the most bullied one by China right now, because China literally sent its warship and coast guards to block and to block the Philippine fishermen and their navy into where their exclusive economic zone is. China totally ignored the EEZ, the 200 nautical miles EEZ of Philippines. So, and if you talk about South Korea and Japan, all these things, Japan literally have if I'm not wrong, they have a legislation that allows them to defend Taiwan if Taiwan was invaded. So if China attacks Taiwan, Japan is automatically at war, if I'm not wrong. I read that like 1-2 years ago, I think. So and South Korea can say whatever they want. The leader can say whatever they want. Just like Chamberlain in World War II, he can say whatever he wants. He tried to not stop Hitler. In the end, UK still goes to war. British Empire still go to war with Germany, because don't side with Taiwan or Japan or United States, because your adversary is literally North Korea, Russia, and China. You're going to get stranded and you're going to be alone. If you're alone, you're going to be dead. You're going to be a Libya, or you're going to be a Syria, where you are like stranded in the middle of nowhere. You must have a big brother.
Isn't there something that like the United States automatically takes over South Korea's army in case of a war?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think maybe. I'm not entirely sure. But the thing is,
the Korea's president wants to kick out the U.S. Out of South Korea.
I think the American position in South Korea is very unique. It's not the same as the one in Japan. The
because it's not an ended conflict. It's just a frozen
they're
conflict.
still at war. They're actually still at war.
Yes.
Officially. So the thing, that's why the Americans' position in South Korea is very unique. It's not like any other country in the world, and it's also important to note Taiwan is Republic of China. They are actually still at war with the Communist China officially. They haven't have a peace agreement as well. It's a bit like North and South Korea
situation. Everybody signs a one-China policy to do trade with China.
Yeah, the thing is everybody just want to make money. That's all.
That's very unique, also.
Yeah, but even Taiwan is the freaking Taiwanese also go to China to make money. It's about just making money. The thing is, but technically they are still at war. Which is why China try not to go to war, because they know that the invasion of Taiwan is going to cost a lot of lives, and China cannot
both
afford.
sides will not bring anything.
Yeah, China cannot afford it. Yeah, it literally don't bring anything. Like they don't get anything.
I think in that point they're looking more for cooperation, but they kind of get bullied by the states all the time with ships going over to the strait.
Yeah. The thing is, China,
there's always a reaction if there's something happening.
Also, can I reply to the other things you said before? I don't really think you understand how Vietnam works. Like I said, the North Vietnam historically has been influenced by China, whereas South Vietnam has historically been influenced by India. The political elites there in both regions have connections to China and the U.S. respectively. This is why the current government is so pro-China. It's not out of convenience. It's because this goes down to historical ties. The South Vietnamese tend to be much more anti-China. Now, the South Vietnamese elites, and also, yes, it is probably better to be like China friendly, in considering how powerful China is in this region. But still, those countries don't really have a reason to cozy up with China right now. Like they used to have much worse relations in say the 90s, in say the 2000s. Even like South Korea's last government was much more anti-China than like the new president, which wants better relations with North Korea which wants good relations with China and even somewhat decent relations with Russia. And I think in the case of if China does go to war with America over Taiwan, I think those countries will just try staying neutral.
They will
And
try. 100% they
maybe
will try.
take a lot.
For 100% they will try. Because nobody wants their own army to die, right? Their own people to die. Everybody will try, and then eventually everybody will get involved. That's what happened to the Vietnam War, no?
Think
that's what happened in Vietnam War.
I think that Japan and South Korea will probably just allow themselves to get sanctioned by the U.S. because I don't think they want to get militarily involved and not even economically involved against China, especially because the U.S. has become a completely unreliable partner to those countries with under Trump with all the tariffs and stuff. So they're cozying up to a more reliable partner, which is China.
They don't make money from China though. the main thing about the trade war is a totally different issue. Actually, the issue about trade war is that the whole world makes money from United States. Almost everybody makes money from United States. So and then everybody lose money to China. So everybody buy China goods, right? So we lose money to China. And then where we get this money to buy China goods, we earn money from the United States. So that's how it works. So which is why United States have $1 trillion deficit and the Chinese have a $1 trillion surplus. So the problem is now when United States say we must balance the trade, then everybody cannot make money, and then they still need to spend money. That's the problem. There's nothing special about the United States putting tariff, honestly speaking. Every country have tariff. But the thing is that everybody's economic policy is based on earning money from the United States and spending money on China right now. Almost everybody. So that is where European Union having a headache. This is where Japan is so resistant. Because if you cannot make money from the United States, who you going to make money from? China don't even buy shit. China don't buy stuff. They only buy natural resources and high tech chips and everything, and which eventually they'll find a way to make it themselves, and they will not buy it from you. So that is the problem with dealing with China. You don't make money from them, and that is a big headache. And nobody can solve it. And China deliberately don't want to solve it as well, because I just mentioned
it's true. And
Chinese are hoarders. We all want to save money. We all want to earn all the money because we are fucking insecure people.
Yeah, it's true. And the other thing about it, right, is that if we project these trends out a ways, let's go forward 20, 30 years, look at demographic trends. Okay, I think a lot of people have this idea that China, its economy will somehow transform from being a net exporting economy to becoming a net importing economy, and thereby it will take on the role of the United States in the world trade system. That I feel is extremely unlikely, because what's going on right now in China, right? If you look at the demographics, right, it's an aging society, just like most of the world is, right? But so obviously this logic applies pretty much everywhere. But China is aging faster than pretty much anywhere except for. No, but see, yeah, I'll get to this in a second. It's a very good point that you mentioned there. But right. So what happens in an aging society? I'll get to the automation piece in just a minute. In an aging society, if you look at the age brackets of society, right, you've got the youth, then you've got young adults and say 20 to 40, and then you've got older middle-aged people 40 to 60, and then retirees 60 and onwards. Okay, and broadly speaking, right, the youth simply consume. Okay, they're consumers of goods and services. Okay, then you have the young adults, and the young adults are the biggest consumers of services by far, but they're also producers, but not as productive as the middle-aged people who consume a little bit less but produce a lot more, right? All of us know that in our own personal careers, by and large, we're going to be making a lot more money, providing a lot more value at age 50 than we do at age 25, right? That's normal. You have a lot more value add. And then after that, retirees only consume goods and services and do not produce. So if you look at what's going on, you know, as the middle age bracket gets bigger and bigger compared to the young adult bracket, right? The earning power of the Chinese, the average Chinese, is only going to go up because the average Chinese will go from being, say, age 35 to being age 55. And a 55-year-old makes a lot more money than a 35-year-old. They are going to be more productive as they become, you know, that's the first stage. You know, maybe later on there will be an issue where there's a huge number of retirees, and that's where the automation piece comes in, when they can't even support themselves. And so you might think, oh, this is an opportunity. They have this huge number of retirees. They'll have to import all the goods and services to take care of their retirees. But this is the trick, right? What is the main service that retirees need? They need medical care. They need nursing care, right? They need help like that. What they need basically are young bodies, right? To come and help them, you know, fucking clean their bedpan and move them from their wheelchair to their bed, right? That's what you need. Now, what happens when you quote unquote import that particular service? Okay, if I'm sitting here in China and I'm an elderly retiree, I have all this money saved up, and I say, fine, I need to go ahead and import, you know, a person, right? I'm going to go ahead and bring in an immigrant, right? What that's doing is basically exporting housing, if you think about it, right? It is, in another sense, it is an export as well. You're so in a way, you know, in a way that might be the solution, right? That you're going to start exporting, you know, housing and importing people. But still, it's still an export in a lot of ways. I mean, so the point I'm making is that this is not a solution, right? Like letting China become old is not going to be a magic bullet that's going to allow it to become a consumer.
Can I reply to you? I think you made a logical error. So, you were saying that automation would not fix the issue of social services, like Chinese.
No. It's not going to fix the issue of China being a consumer, being a net producer. In fact, it'll only make it produce more. It won't make it be a consumer.
Yeah, that's the problem we have in Germany right now with the aging society. They're actively bringing in people from outside, like for example from Vietnam, nurses that get incentive to live here.
And that's an export, you see.
Yeah,
that itself is an export, because you're effectively exporting, you know, the German housing. You're effectively exporting, you know, German food and whatever goods that they're consuming. You're exporting those things to people that are from outside of the country that are then coming into the country. So it still works out to be an export, you know. And so turning a country into a net importer, which is what the United States is, right? That is not so easy. It's really not going to get solved. It's only going to get harder and harder as the Chinese demographics continue.
It's super hard to be a consuming region, unless you can make a lot of money from a lot of places, or you can make money out of thin air like the Americans. And the whole economic system right now is
currency.
And if I may,
they have.
If I may, it's not exactly.
Everything has to go through the dollar.
It is the reserve currency.
So they can make
exactly, but
it's a big deficit, and the whole world pays for it. Actually,
yeah.
That's right, and it's not just the currency, right? It's the fact that the global financial system as a whole is centralized.
Yeah, the SWIFT system. Every transaction I do, even within Germany, to one other dude in Germany, that goes over the international.
Yeah, it all goes through Wall Street, right? And so the you know. I mean, if you look at the way a bank works fundamentally, right? A bank works by this. Like if Wyatt wants to start a business and Archimedes has, you know, some savings, okay? A bank works by bringing Archimedes to the bank so I can get a 2% on my savings. And then it brings Wyatt to the bank so he can get charged 3% on his interest. And the bank takes, and Wyatt gets his loan, I get my savings secured, and the bank gets 1%. That's how a bank works. It brings together, you know, different sides of the financial market, and the more people that you can bring in to a banking system, the more efficient the banking system becoms, the more financial power it can produce, right?
2% by the bank get eaten up by the inflation. There's still
well, the inflation is itself created by the whole. It's part of the system itself, right? The inflation itself is part of the game, because inflation is the thing that keeps people interested in spending. Absolutely. So exactly. So money is being created. And so the great value of the U.S. financial system is that it is the only game in town. It's the game that has all the players in it. It's the biggest financial market, and therefore the most efficient financial market. And it's the financial market that also has the exorbitant privilege of the reserve currency. all these things are what make Wall Street what it is, right? So that is ultimately the thing that's driving America as an import economy. And I should say that in my view, even though I do work in finance, I do think that this financialization is really good for Wall Street, but it's not that great for Americans
So
as a whole.
how
I
should
think
I
it's been
see
a
how should I
shit
see
deal
like
for Americans.
how should I see the growing trade deficits the states right now has? Like they're not getting lower.
Well,
they're
I think what
growing,
it is
getting higher.
what it
This
is Main
actually
Street.
just
It's
tells me
a
like
violent
they're getting more
revolution from
goods
Main Street
for
against
more
Wall Street.
worthless dollars actually, and they do it as long as it goes, and then they probably blow it up and go digital currency. I don't know. I don't see a gameplay behind it.
Yeah, well, I see it
Seems
more
odd.
as an internal conflict, right? Because this financialization, right, the centralization of the American economy in New York, this creation of making of making the American economy an import economy, all those things are actually pretty bad for 70% of Americans. It's really good for like 1% of Americans, and it breaks even for 25-30%. But for 60-70% of Americans, it's really bad.
Wouldn't it be the biggest
And so I think
gift to
that's what we're
big
seeing, a
tech if
populist
he
revolt.
goes central digital currency, because big tech would have to say about it.
Yeah,
So
no,
they're
for sure.
privatizing
Well,
the
if
dollar.
anything, it would actually bring. That's very interesting, right? Because now this system, you can simultaneously do a populist revolt against the financiers that have created this dollar system, create a new financial system, screw over the rest of the world, screw over Wall Street, and also help out the tech guys, right? So who's the winners at the end of the day? It's the 60-70% of the American people, and it's the tech guys, and the losers are the finance guys, and the losers are the rest of the world, basically. And I think that's an interesting possible development if we move towards the CBDC model, right? Central bank digital currency model, which does appear to be inevitable. And I would encourage all listeners to look at Yanis Varoufakis, who, despite being the finance minister of Greece, which sounds like a punchline, he is actually very educated and has got a really interesting theory about the development of capitalism in the new world of, basically central bank digital currency, of the union of finance and tech. Called techno-feudalism. So I just would encourage anybody that hasn't already heard about that to go look that up on YouTube. It is really fantastic.
I want to add a bit also on the how the reserve currency changed the world. Like if before there is all this reserve currency, right? No, the world is actually rather zero sum. Like there are countries that will constantly lose wealth, and then there are other countries will constantly get a lot of wealth, and the introduction of the US dollar, printing of the US dollar allows the whole world to grow together. And of course we pay for it because of course this doesn't make sense, right? Not everybody makes money, so you have to at least give in a bit in terms of like from inflation and everything. And then by right, everybody should grow, and then it's underpinned by the debt that is the United States accumulating. By right, everybody create resources, then there should be some kind of a balancing out, but it doesn't. So then the American debt just keep increasing, and there will be a point where which is why it's now that the Americans cannot hold it anymore, and they cannot underpin the growth of the whole world anymore. So that is the negative part of the things right now that Trump is trying to solve, and which is why everybody is worried, because once you go back to the old ways where the powerful countries just continue to absorb all the wealth from the world or from the rest of the world, like the British Empire did. So which is why the British Empire becomes so rich and affluent during their heydays, and then the whole world becomes super poor. That's what happens if United States go down this route and they don't do a balanced trade. So this consumer economy thing is not a natural thing. It's just not a natural thing.
Service-based economy they have right now, and the thing like that Trump likes to blend out, even if he wants to bring production back to the United States, he would need at least 10 to 30 years to build all the supply chains. Because all the supply chains right now lead to China.
That's the assumption. No, the thing is, the Chinese
the rare earths. The military-industrial complex in the States cannot build weapons without those rare earths.
No, but
because
I would encourage you not to.
But the
I would encourage you not to.
China is probably doing 90% of
yes,
the world market.
But I would,
they do 90%.
but replacement, I would encourage you not to confuse, oh, it's going to take 5, 10, 30, whatever number of years in order for this change to happen with,
You think
oh,
it's
it's
gonna go
impossible,
faster?
right?
Yeah.
No. It
It's
doesn't
like
really matter whether it's fast or slow because it's not a binary. Okay, it's not as though the United States has zero manufacturing and then after 10 years it's going to have 100% manufacturing. The United
yeah,
States
but you
already
need a
has some.
skilled workforce
It's already
too. You
increasing.
cannot just take the
Yeah, but all
worker
these
from
things are
McDonald's
happen.
and
Like
put him into a
these are all
factory and then
continuous.
make him go like
These
go.
are all.
No,
Yeah, but again, you're thinking in terms of binaries.
I
You're
can
thinking,
give.
everybody works at McDonald's. We're going to take everybody and make them work
No,
at
no, 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 no,
factories.
no.
It
That
doesn't
was
work
just
that way.
that
It's
was just a
percentage changes
stupid
over
example.
time.
Sorry,
I know, but
I didn't
the
want to
point is
say
it's
that
percentage
everybody's
changes over
working at
times
McDonald's.
that
Yeah, I will give an
what I'm saying
example
is that
how
it's
fast.
percentage changes which create a trend, and when there's a trend, then the markets and everybody that's looking forward will go and price in the projected growth. Okay, so it's not a and another thing is we're not going to war tomorrow. Okay, I mean if we wake up tomorrow and the nukes are flying, okay, all right, sue me, but the point is it's gonna you say, oh my god, it's gonna take 5, 10 years. Well, it'll take 5, 10 years for it to be needed as
It's going
well.
to take
It's
way
not a big
shorter than
deal.
that. I just want to share when the country really needs something, things can happen super fast. For example, if you look at how Elon Musk built up XAI, he did it within a month. Even the Intel and everybody was shocked. Like OpenAI, everybody was shocked how fast Elon Musk created XAI in a super tiny.
Well, Wyatt, would you agree? Kind of what we're seeing with the tariffs being slapped on is kind of creating that incentive for companies to find like alternate supply chains
Yes.
for them to produce it domestically. That's kind of the purpose of what the tariffs are, is to kind of decouple from China eventually. I think that's kind of like the long run here, is to incentivize private companies to build the infrastructure, and
Yes.
of course the government needs to subsidize it as well. But the way you create that incentive is with tariffs. If not, because I don't think the U.S. can naturally compete with Chinese manufacturing right now. It just can't happen. So it's like, and America's not going to buy an American-made product compared to a Chinese-made product, which is just as
nice
good.
bonus of tariffs
No,
is
I push back on
people
that.
pay extra
I would
tax
put
and
I'd
the
push
state gets more money.
I'd push
Because
back on
the
that immensely,
importers
right? Okay, so look, the
they're
United
not gonna
States.
sit on the extra costs.
Let's look at steel. Okay, so steel. Okay, so steel, right? It's a major industry. Let's look at steel as an example. All right. The Chinese steel industry is, about 10x the United States steel industry. The U.S. steel industry is still quite big. It's the second biggest in the world, and it produces about as much steel per year as the United States produced at the peak of World War II. Today, in peacetime, which of course the Chinese produce 10x. The world is much bigger now. Now, let me say this about the Chinese steel industry. The Chinese steel plants are all located along the coast of China. They bring in coal and iron ore from external sources. They're brought into these coastal factories, and then they're shipped out from the coastal factories. Okay, um, the the geographic factors of the United States steel industry make it significantly cheaper to make steel in the United States than in China, because one, labor is not a major factor in the cost of steel. If you look at the United States, right, our steel industry is located along the Great Lakes. The coal is mined right there on the Appalachian Mountains, just about 50 to 100 miles from the Great Lakes. The iron ore is mined right there in in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and northern Ontario, which is and along the Lake Superior shoreline, which is right there. And there's an enormous amount of internal water frontage of the United States steel industry, which is why it was the best place in the world to make steel before, and it could be again. The difference is there's a ridiculous amount of environmental regulations preventing that from happening, and there is an enormous amount of subsidization from the Chinese side for their steel industry, even though their steel industry is fundamentally not as economical as the American steel industry would be. The other factor being that the United States has an excess of natural gas, which could be burned for free for the purpose of running these steel mills. The reason that we don't have it is purely political. Okay, the United States absolutely could outcompete the Chinese on steel enormously. If the Chinese, it could be an arms race where they'd have to keep on dumping subsidization money into the steel industry if they wanted to keep up with us. If we even did a fraction of the subsidies that the Chinese did, it would be Absolutely, it would blow the Chinese out of the water. It would be way more effective on the global market. The problem is, of course, we have a huge amount of environmental regulations here because apparently these these one world globalist thinkers don't realize that the Chinese are using the same fucking atmosphere as we are. So it doesn't really matter where it's being built, but they don't want it to be built here because they have command. Anyway, it's ridiculous. And if we can have the correct requisite political changes, there's a lot of other industries where this applies too. Where America, I mean, if you just look at it geographically, there's nothing magical about China. Sure, they're going to have advantages. They're a huge country and everything, but
To be
there's
fair,
lots of
there
things that the U.S. could compete with.
to be fair, the environmental regulations are becoming better in China, especially since Xi Jinping took over. This is why also why, for example, Beijing and Shanghai are not polluted anymore. You can't really compare China's social problems of the 2000s to including the environmental regulations to China's environmental regulations and social problems in the 2020s. But I do agree that the US has much more environmental regulations for now than China, probably.
Yeah, I think for me, I like to reflect on World War II. Like again, the Americans can ramp up productions really insanely fast. Like at the start of World War II, the Japanese believed that by sinking the field carriers of the American fleet, USA is out of the war. But then in the end, United States within 2 years time, 2 to 3 years time, they ramp up production of freaking aircraft carriers into some stupid numbers. So the Americans have this kind of capacity which few countries in the world can. So it's people talk about the rare earth and all these things. I think with the current technologies, with robotics, AI and everything, all these things can be ramp up production really, really fast. Like, it's just I think we will see this within the next 1 or 2 years. We'll start to see some surprising news about certain rare earth facilities suddenly expanding 4 times 5 times bigger. Like Apple, when I did the report about the Apple announcement, that they're going to invest another $100 billion into the United States and whatnot. He also announced that he's working with one of these American rare earth company. And then they're going to get all the rare earth 100% locally sourced and refined in United States, and that's only for Apple alone. We haven't talked about all the other industries that may need rare earth, like Tesla. Where are they getting their rare earth from? So a lot of things is under the radar because it is all starting to become a national security issue for the United States. So I would say it's not going to take 5 to 10 years for the United States to ramp up all these things. It's going to be very fast. So if China can do something very fast,
Look, even if it is 5 to 10 years, 5 to 10 years is not a long time, man.
Yeah, but
it's not that long, bro. I mean, 5 years ago was the pandemic. That was yesterday.
Yeah, I think you will happen.
Sure.
I think in order for the U.S. to do something so quickly,
I just think it's so fucking stupid the way that the people will constantly be like, "Oh my god, it's going to take 5 to 10 years." 5 to 10 years? Oh my god!
No, under Biden, yes. Under Biden, 5 to 10 years, I agree. Under Biden, 5 to 10 years, I can agree.
No, but even if it's 5 to 10 years, Wyatt, that's fucking nothing. Have people ever read history? Like, come on, man.
But
10 years ago, that was.
United States is not even in World War II for 5 years.
Not long of a time.
No, but the thing is, Americans were not even World War II 5 years.
And stop and wait till the Americans catch up, and then
but you see, America was only in World War II for 3 years.
I know.
Can you imagine how fast?
But there were still
from
you
in
know
3
why
years?
it's called the Rust Belt, right? Is there still industry there a lot, or is it able to be rebuilt quick, or how is it?
I think as long as you have investment, I think
the factories need to be rebuilt. The thing is like my issue with the tariffs is what we weren't seeing along with the tariffs was rebuilding of the infrastructure. So like rebuilding of the factories.
Just compare power generation in 1 year from China and the US, and then US wants to go all EV. No, that won't work. Not with the power grid right now. And what happened
keep
to
in
the
mind,
2 trillion energy stuff from Biden? Did that just like go away, or somebody put it in his pocket?
No, it's not. It hasn't gone away. It's still there, right? Biden has been investing in the energy
Oh, okay.
infrastructure, and so
It just
and that,
takes
that
a
Build
little bit
Back Better
longer.
plan, whatever it is. What do you mean takes longer?
also,
What
yes,
like
by the way, I
do you
think the US,
expect that?
I
Do you
think,
expect that like there's going to
Yeah,
be
you
a
said
like
1 to 2
like
years.
what do you expect exactly, right? Like, are you expecting that you're going to receive a giant fireworks show above your house that spells out, oh, the Biden Build Back Better plan has been completed. Here's a list of all the things that have been done. And that's going to get mailed to
Okay,
your front
interesting.
door. And then there's going to be a bunch
I,
of dancers that come and say, oh, look at all the things that have been done. You know, no, dude, come on, man. It's a fucking infrastructure plan. Look, I went to a
What Trump
fucking
would do
train
though?
station in
He would
Connecticut.
have
It had
dancers
a
in the
big
back.
sign in. Look, Nigga, you're in Germany, okay? Like I
Yeah.
went to a train station in Connecticut. There's a big sign
It's
there that
going
has all about
downhill
this
here.
Build Back Better plan. All right. I'm just saying, like, you know, people make up these narratives. They make up these stories, like, oh, what, nothing has happened. Oh, because I read a news article about it, you know, 4 years ago that said it was going to go into effect, and I haven't heard anything since. So therefore, nothing has happened. I mean, that's completely ridiculous, dude. You know, if you want to actually have a view of whether things have happened, you need to go and make a tour of all of the electrical sites in the United States. Have you done so? No.
Cannot go
So why are
anymore.
you talking about it? Well, of course not. We don't want
They
you
won't
either.
let
Come
me
on.
in the
Stay in your
country.
country, you dirty Euro.
Yeah, but
well, wait,
Yeah, well,
I
we don't
think
want
the
you,
US
man. We don't want any more
also
Euro
fixing
trash in
its
America.
problems. I think the US is also fixing its problems regarding like autarky and stuff by also deindustrializing the European Union. I think this is also a big thing.
the thing is that the Americans is not the one that
Hell yeah.
deindustrializing the Europeans. The Europeans are deindustrializing themselves. No, the
Well, yeah,
Americans never say
They're
do.
doing
they're
that to themselves. Like, dude, energy prices go up for the 30%. Food prices doubled.
In Germany,
Yeah, Germany.
food double. Oh my freaking god! But is it a COVID thing or is it just the Ukraine war thing?
Ever since COVID,
Yeah, I mean,
they started
ever
little
since
bit,
COVID, a
and
lot of
then with the
countries doubled.
Ukraine war, it went up, pop.
Oh.
Because like Nord Stream got kind of bombed. Who knows who did it? But that meant a lot.
who do you think did it? You're German, right? Who bombed your pipeline? Who do you think did it?
It was, let's say it was inter-NATO terrorism.
I just think the U.S. can. I agree. I'm in agreement that the U.S. can quickly spin up production. I just think that it's kind of navel gazing right now, like it has
remember
been.
also what Stalin said, surpassing the West 100 years of development in 10 years. And this is basically what Stalin did with the Soviet Union. This allowed the Soviet Union to become an industrialized superpower, which eventually beat Hitler. Also, fun fact: Hitler only was in power for 12 years. 12 years, and the Great Patriotic War between the Soviet Union and Nazi Germany only lasted for 4 years.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, so things can happen super fast.
2033, baby. 2033, run it back, baby.
Yeah, so
2033, run it back. Let's go.
That's why-
One only lasted for 4 years as well. I think it really depends on how much a leader really does. Like Hitler was in power for 12 years, but Merkel for 16. And despite this, Hitler's impact on the world in Germany has been much greater than Merkel's, even though Merkel was in power longer. And I think this is an insane fact to even like comprehend. Like, yeah.
I would disagree because we are all using American shit right now, you know, American internet, no American Discord. No, everything is American in terms of the technology, and I mean, but the thing is, like, that's why I say, you know, things are not going to take 5 to 10 years. No, you see how fast things ramped up. No, under Hitler, under the Americans in World War II. Things can ramp up really fast. I think I got a feeling that what is happening right now, the Trump plan is that he's creating a condition like World War II. No, you know, in World War II, right? They just issue a lot of bonds. So they have this land lease. Then the whole of Europe start to own United States money for the next 80, 100 years. And then they use this loan to print a lot of money and and build up everything. So Trump is doing something a bit different. They ask the countries right now to invest in United States, so to bring the investment in so that they have the extra cash to invest and build up the industry, similar to what happened in World War II, where the Americans built up the industry. I think this is something like what's happening right now. So instead of creating more debt, they just get the investment in to build it. And yeah, I think Trump is preparing for a war for sure. They are worried for sure.
I think that in a way Trump is in a lot of aspects actually similar to Biden, because keep in mind Biden was already doing the deindustrialization of the European Union. I just think Trump will try intensifying it and will try leading to a complete collapse of the European Union. And keep in mind, like the right-wing populists in those countries, like Marine Le Pen and Maloney. I know that the UK is not in the EU anymore, but still Nigel Farage. They all hate China and are very pro-US. A lot of them support Russia, like Marine Le Pen and Nigel Farage, but they really hate China and love the US. And I think Trump wants to make them take over and make the EU collapse, so he can also, first of all, get rid of one of his enemies, that is the EU, and secondly, also get more allies against China. And I think this is also why he's somewhat friendly towards Russia. He's preparing for an escalation in Taiwan where he can beat China. This is also one of the biggest differences between Trump and Biden. I think Biden's approach was defeating China by what is it called? By punching punching China's proxies, which is Russia, China's
The Russians
frontier.
are going to get
This
so
is-
pissed
this
off
did
when
not
they
work.
hear that. The Russians
Huh?
is going to be so pissed off when you say that Russians are the proxy of China. They
Well, I did not say that. I
they'll
did not.
feel
I
so
did not say that.
insulted.
It's China's frontier. Look. I am Russian. I am Russian.
Yeah.
I don't think Russia is some sort of Chinese puppet, but we are China's frontier. We're like a buffer zone. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah,
If
yeah.
Yeah,
the
you want to
US
go through China, you have to go through Russia first.
Well, that's what Biden
That's what
thinks.
NATO states, I think.
But I
That's
think
like,
Trump's plan is different. I think
no.
Trump's plan is to work with the Russians to deal with China. Biden's plan is to destroy Russia, then deal with China. I think Trump's plan is better because lesser death.
Listen,
But then I agree with you.
I'll
On one thing, the aim to disintegrate EU will be is still the same, because for United States, EU is not a friendly entity. So for Trump, disintegration of EU is a good thing because it weakens the whole of Europe.
this is also an let me reply to two things you said. First of all, this is actually, I think, a natural geopolitical development. Like both Russia and the US in the past, Britain as well, could not allow a strong continental Europe to exist between themselves, which is why both Russia and the US and also the UK earlier, for that matter, often united against strong continental European powers, which are the European Union right now. During the era of decolonization, the Soviet Union and America also sided against the British Empire, French Empire, Spanish Empire,
I mean,
Portuguese
you know
Empire.
the
Also
motto of
sided-
NATO from 1950s to 1952 from Lord Ishmael. It was like, keep the Americans in, the Russians out, and the Germans down. You can look
Well,
it up
anyway.
at the NATO headquarters site
Yeah.
webpage. This is
No,
official.
you guys are getting
I'll
stronger
check it
now.
out.
No, Germany is coming back. You're gonna build a grand army
No,
of the
no,
Republic.
no, no. That
Germany,
shit's not gonna
Germany,
happen.
Anyway,
nobody,
I hope
nobody
not.
even needs to, at this point,
Anyway,
nobody even
can
needs
I
to keep
continue?
Germany
So,
down, okay? Germany is face down, ass up, okay? They're
Germany
ready to
is
go.
going downhill, dude. There's nothing.
okay, listen, let me continue. So, and you can also see this in World War II, like where both Russia, the Soviet Union, and the US and UK united against Nazi Germany. They also united against the Central Powers in World War I, and against Napoleon. So Britain and Russia against Napoleon in the Napoleonic War. So this is a natural development, in my opinion. And also, I agree with you that this was basically Biden's approach. Like Biden tried to destroy China's frontier, which was Russia. He I think that Biden believed that this would automatically basically checkmate China. As China will basically have nothing to hold on at that point. China's survival depends on Russia to a large extent. Whereas Trump's approach is different. Trump wants to fight China directly, and ideally wants to also bring Russia on his side, or at least make Russia neutral in the U.S.-China conflict. Because I think Russia's role is decisive in who wins the U.S.-China conflict. So you have two approaches here.
So recently,
Yeah.
I've been
Well,
telling,
I
I've been
think
saying
the key
that.
factor. You should also note the Middle East. Okay, go on. All right, sorry.
So no. So recently, I mean, telling people, that Russia is actually the kingmaker. So whoever's get Russia on their side is going to so-called win the world. Put it that way, in a way. So you see, China really wants Russia on their side, but Russia don't really trust China that much. So like the partnership is it looks strong, but it's actually also very hollow. Then if Europe coupled with Russia as alliance, then they will dominate the world. United States will become the second power. But if Russia no allies with United States, then they're going to control the whole freaking world, like 100% for sure. So Russia is actually the kingmaker. Russia, whoever get Russia's on their side, is going to become the most powerful side. So, and I think Trump.
I think this is actually where the Middle East comes in.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the Eurasia from China's perspective, Russia and the Middle East, Russia and Iran, almost look kind of interchangeable. And what I mean is that both of them are energy exporters to you, connected by land, and both of them are sort of trade routes to Europe. Okay, either you go north of the Caspian or you go south of the Caspian if you want to get to Europe. So in a sense, Russia and the Middle East are natural competitors. So I think that there may be in the works a deal of sorts that where Trump basically wins Russia to his side and gets hegemony in the Middle East. I think that's Trump's objective here. And what I mean by that is like why I think he might be able to win Russia to his side is because what does Russia want that America has? Europe. America has Europe. America doesn't need Europe. America has so much control over Europe that we could sell a lot of Europe to Russia in exchange for X, Y, and Z. And maybe we can sell them, what they want in Eastern Europe if we ask them to, get out of the Middle East and help us dominate, or at least let us dominate the Middle East. And I think perhaps that's the deal that's being done. If you look at what happened in Syria, look at what's going on in Armenia and Azerbaijan. If you look at the fact that the Russians did not help the Iranians in the recent scuffle with Israel, it's possible that there may be this kind of deal. American hegemony in the Middle East in exchange for Russia getting their Eastern European sphere of influence back.
I also want to add one more point onto your point is that the Chinese are also making move. The Silk Road, the Belt and Road thing, right? The Silk Road actually links all the way going around Russia to link to Europe. So he's trying to link to the Middle East, Iran, Afghanistan, and he's also trying to influence all of the Central Asian countries, all the stun states, to be under the Chinese influence. And that is basically, invading into Russia's, backyard, basically. So Russia is also not happy, with what China is actually, doing quietly, behind Russia's back, in a sense.
Listen, you just really hate the Chinese government, and it's really evident.
It's the truth. If you're now playing Europa Universalis or any other game, if you are Russia and you see China starting to, because you have all these countries in the south of you all under your influence. Suddenly Chinese is gaining the influence around it because they want to get access to the oil and gas in the Middle East, right? So they want a land road. And the thing, but also while they're doing that, they are also surrounding Russia. So Russia is doing exactly the same thing by allying, North Korea, and then they have Vietnam, Cambodia maybe not, Laos. Like the Russians are also trying to surround China, while the Americans already surrounded China. these are all
Listen,
geopolitical
let me
games.
reply.
It's a natural thing to do. If I'm Chinese, I will be doing the same thing. I will be promoting Belt and Road because I
Okay,
have to keep the Russians at bay. I have to make sure that I have strong enough influence that the Russians do not dare to move against me. So then I have to deal with the Asia Pacific side. How do I break the first island chain? How do I break it? It's the same game. It doesn't matter. It's just how it is. You play which side, you realize that whatever they do is natural. It's just a natural thing to do.
okay. Listen, I don't agree with this because of the political groups inside the CPC of how they function. Xi Jinping, look, what you're saying could have perhaps made sense in the 2000s when the Tuan was in power, but not today. Today, Xi Jinping is in power, who is from a North Chinese faction in the CPC. The North Chinese factions have historic connections to Russia, which go back to the 1890s when the Russian Empire controlled northern China and later the Soviet Union as well. They built connections with Russia at the time, and thus they are pro-Russia to this day. And you can look at also Xi Jinping's father. Xi Jinping's father even used to be part of Gao Gang's group. That was like an political groups in the CPC in the 1950s, which was anti-Mao, by the way, and wanted
Okay.
close relations with the Soviet Union. And so I don't really think that Xi Jinping is like secretly anti-Russian or just supports Russia tactically against the U.S. I think that Xi Jinping is genuinely pro-Russia. Maybe China will become anti-Russian like 30 years from now or something, but that's far in the future. For now, China is pro-Russia,
No,
genuinely
it's not
pro-Russia.
anti-China. I'm not saying that China is doing that to anti-China. It's to keep China at bay, keep Russia at bay. They are not anti-Russia. They need Russia on their side, because let's say if this progress into a world war situation, okay, and you are China, what China lacks is natural resources in terms of energy, and if now their plan, if you look at the Belt and Road plan, why the Belt and Road plan is designed this way? Because they are trying to get the resources from Africa and Middle East into China. That's why they need the sea routes, they need the land routes, and then they try to build ports in Myanmar, in Pakistan, in Iran, go through the railway back into China. But if they have Russia on their side, then they have zero problems with energy anymore. The energy will go directly from Siberia into China. The Belt and Road become redundant, become a insurance only. They don't even need those anymore if they have Russia on their side. But the thing is, why they didn't even do that in the first place? Because if they do that, Russia, firstly, they don't want to sell. Second thing is that if they have that and they purely depend on Russia, then they become the little brother of Russia. They get controlled by Russia. As much as the world like to call China, is now the big brother of Russia, it's not the case. No, Russia is still significantly more influential than China is actually. So although China is rising, I'm not saying that China is weak, but they have to do what they have to do, because ultimately Russia is not a small country. Russia is a very powerful country. So China has its respect for Russia, and they have to make all the maneuvers to make sure that they have their second route. The same thing, for example, Russia has been trying to sell China a lot of energy. They keep telling China to buy more. China do not want to buy more. They prefer to buy from Iran, because they want to make sure that they are not becoming dependent on Russia. Because once they become dependent, if Russia cut the gas, China is dead. So that's why the Belt and Road have to continue to do. They need to back up Iran, because Iran cannot fall, because Iran now is their primary source of oil and gas, because the Middle East is now totally controlled by the Americans now. So these are the games that is being played. This is not anti-China. It's just a reality. That's just how the game is played.
I think that the current Chinese political elites, the Northern Chinese faction, trust Russia. Like, I don't think they really want to keep Russia at the bay. Like you say, like in the 1950s and 1960s, there were actually similar fears which were like spread by Mao about how the Russians will infringe on China's sovereignty or whatever. This was promoted by Mao, but this was rejected by the northern Chinese factions, like by Gao Gang and by Xi Jinping's father. So, and that back then the Soviet Union was also much more powerful than Russia is today. So I don't really agree with your analysis.
The China-Soviet conflict, right, was in 1969. They fought for half a year between Soviet Union and China. It's past that. They fought not too long ago. And if you look at in Indochina, which is Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam area, the two sides are actually just jostling for influence as well. The Chinese invaded invaded Vietnam because Vietnam invaded Khmer Rouge, included Kampuchea, which is Cambodia. So because Kampuchea is actually Cambodia, which is actually the little brother of China in those days. So when Vietnam invaded to remove the Khmer Rouge, the Chinese invaded Vietnam. So all these are very recent conflicts actually. All these things is not like, it's not just about the faction politics within China. This is like, it doesn't matter which faction, they will still have to make certain geopolitical decisions that have to make sense. Like the energy problem for China remains the same, which is why they go all into battery, all into into natural green energy, like all the solar panels and the dams and everything. It's because they have to, because they are so energy poor. They have no choice.
It makes sense because you have the oil for the industry and the rest you use for natural solar batteries, whatever, water.
Why would any country want to go all full electric? Because China, if China don't need to get the petrols in, they can just going full electric, using nuclear power plant to power all the cars. It makes perfect sense. Because they know where's their weakness. This is not like anti-China thing. If I run China, I will do exactly the freaking same thing. It's not like some magical thing. If you are running China, you'll do the same thing. You'll see, okay, where's our weaknesses? Our weaknesses is energy. So okay, now we have the powerful manufacturing, we have the best technology in solar panel technologies, and we can build the biggest dam in the world. Then we have we also have uranium. So of course we're going to invest in uranium, nuclear power plant. We're going to invest in we have a lot of coal as well. We'll do more coal plants, more whatever. As long as we don't need to use petrol and oil and gas and diesel. And if we need that, we minimize it. We store a lot of it, only use for military use if possible. No finger. It's not open mind.
Wyatt,
Yeah, no, but because I am on the camera, I can actually signal that way. So I figured I might as well have the courtesy. And I'm an interesting experiment you have here. I'm enjoying the conversation.
The finger is not allowed.
Yeah. Cut off
the finger is illegal in Discord.
I can prohibit this as much as you want, okay?
Wyatt, I just have a question for you.
Hobbs, I'm going to call you Hobbs because I cannot state your numbers is not in name. So until you get a proper name, I'm just going to call you Hobbs. I have a question for you. You said you're working in finances, right?
It's fucking Archimedes.
Oh, it is. I thought you sounded familiar. Okay, so I have a question.
Wait, what? Why is my name?
I have a question for you.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
where's my name?
I had a question,
bro. What the hell is this app?
He has a fucking Elon Musk name.
Jesus.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay,
Well,
anyway,
I wanted to respond to replacement here because I've been listening in and I haven't. So I'm sorry if I'm catching up a little bit. I have a thing to say about Nord Stream, half jokingly. A thing about the price rises, not so jokingly, and then a question for Archimedes regarding the key interest rates in Russia. So, first, the Nord Stream thing. That's just a grusa all Snowvägen, okay? That's my good neighbor. We will, of course, not be sabotaging your infrastructure for our self-interest. You know, that would be a bad thing to do. And, you know, Norwegians, we are angelic souls, which is why our government is not like your government, right? Our government is an angelic government, which your government concedes to. That's why your government put the blame squarely on those Eastern European savages. See, they are fighting. Obviously, they are the ones who did it, right? Norway can no, because the way it works here, the angelic government is like such. It's good because we're doing it. Unless it's bad, then we didn't do it. So Nord Stream is good for our interest, right? But it's bad that we did it. So that's how it works. So that's half jokingly, of course. I actually do consider Seymour Hersh to be fairly credible in that regard. But I have a thing regarding the price rise, because we have noticed that as well in Norway as well. I would say like what you mentioned, like 30 to 50% on an average, maybe a little bit higher depending.
Can I real quick make you an offer? You know, I'd like to hereby extend an official offer to Norway to be the 52nd state of the United States after Canada.
You know what? I've been joking with a few people that maybe we should kidnap Trump and force him to become our prime minister. Like, if you knew who our prime minister were, you would actually understand why I have that sentiment. So
no, Trump is busy. Trump is going to become the next king of England.
Dude, how
the Polish prime minister
You should give
also
him a vote
qualifies.
first.
We'll take this
You're
Donald
in,
Tusk
like-
then.
If you're from
Yeah.
Norway, right?
Yeah.
How the fuck is your right-wing populist party dying after some retard from the 2000s who invaded Iraq became the new fucking candidate of the fucking Labour Party, who literally did nothing special and literally was even unpopular in the 2000s. What how the
Uncharismatic,
fuck?
spineless misfits. Yes, thank you so much for pointing that out, because most people do not understand the predicament that Norwegians are dealing with. We have the most spineless, incompetent, hypocritical leaders. I mean, Keir Starmer looks like an adult. Okay, Jens Stoltenberg, the guy was the general secretary of NATO. I'm not fucking joking. So I have a part-time job as a pollster. I get, without soliciting any deliberation, right? I might yes, no, what party, whatever. That's it. You don't have to deliberate why. But people give this to me unsolicited. That well, I was considering actually leaving the Labour Party, but then Jens Stoltenberg came back as finance minister. Guy has no degree of significance when it comes to finance, by the way. And because of him, they were going to be considering staying in the Labour Party, which is like mind-baffling, because you have to look at like that should tell you everything, because he actually looks like the adult. He genuinely looks like the adult compared to what we otherwise have. So I despise Stoltenberg, but he is actually the adult in the room, and that should tell you how actually bad the situation is. However, there's a sharp right-wing twist. Let's hope that they don't adopt too much into the ruling party, and yeah. But I have a thing regarding the price rises. So
Yeah, the food prices, exactly. Because everybody has to eat. They're financing something with it. The energy
I'll give an
is normal.
example.
Why?
I'll give an example, a reference there. The IMF, right? And they have their unsavory with their predatory lending and all that kind of stuff. But that's precisely why you can trust them in this accounting, because their predatory lending is predicated on reliable data. Their clients need it, so they have all the reasons to find out what's the actual reason for all the inflation. So once they conducted the audit, what did they find out? Well, according to their estimates, between 44 or 46%, I forgot, of all the inflation. That is to say, all the price rises that you notice on the shelves and whatever. That is not it's not actually the printing of the $1 trillion. That according to them, that only accounted for like 18% or so, maybe 20. Right? You would have thought a lot more. The supply part thing, just a one single digit percentage, I think it was. The Ukraine war, maybe a little bit, but not really all that much. No, 44 to 46. That was arbitrary price rising due to the oligopoly, the cartel, because the major corporations have no competition. So they're just like, why not just increase our profit margins? And all the news about the crisis of COVID, the supply chains, the Ukraine war, that's like, sure. That's what we need to increase the prices. Like, give us the money.
But slowly. COVID was a little bit, and then they used the Ukraine war as an excuse to pump it up more. I'm not sure.
And they used the supply thingy. Notice that the Ukraine war actually came as on the top of the supply thingy, and they used to actually justify much of the effect occurring from the printing, right? So and because the thing is that while they were printing out those billions of dollars, much of the economy was locked down. So the money wasn't moving through, so you didn't actually notice the inflation. Like the inflation is by definition, you have more money in the market, right? And so it lowers the value of it. But since the money wasn't going out in the market at first, sure, there were some like, with the handouts of $2,000 or something like that. But if you combine all the money that was given in those money printing to the Americans, there were 4 corporations that got the equivalent sum, and they were not the majority of the whole printing process. So of all the money that came from the American people, it was actually quite negligible in that regard. Much of the money has just been hoarded up in other investments and assets and so forth. But here comes the thing. I have a question for Archimedes, and this pertains to Russia, because if you look at, for example, how the Western world generally deals with inflation, like the methodology for calculating inflation was altered during the 80s under Reagan. So if you were to be operating with the old methodology, we would roughly be seeing 3 times higher percentage than what they are publicly stating that it is. Now, the key interest rate, they are matching to what is the alleged one, which is perhaps problematic if you consider that the inflation is actually only showing a third of what it is, so it's not really matching. But here's the question, because this is the one that really baffles me a bit. Where I'm like, we tried to figure this out on the open mic with Vojin, I think it was, and Drew in the live chat. That was like, how come then, but look at the Russians, they do the exact opposite. Their key interest rates are twice as high as their alleged inflation rate. And yeah, sure, maybe they are tweaking the inflation just like we're doing in the West. Why would they have such a high interest rate if they're not actually
I think you're overstating the connection of inflation to the interest rates. But yeah, go on. If someone else wants to respond as well, what was that replacement?
They had the didn't the Nabulina wait for the harvest season to commence and how it works out, and then she decided if she raises or not the rates.
From what I could discern, like the key interest rate on a national level are generally twice as high as any reporting of inflation, like what the inflation is supposed to be. So if the interest rates are that high,
right?
So I'm kind of getting the question because if the Russians are unable to offer, sorry.
Like why would that doesn't necessarily have to be true, right? There's other things that interest rates cover besides just inflation, right? I mean, inflation is not necessarily a bad thing in any case at all either.
Yes, inflation, you devalue your currency.
But like Prigozhin was pointing out, the private sector is not naturally getting hollowed out as a result of it. That's not necessarily affecting their war effort, but at least not in the short term, as far as we could discern. But of course, if you're having such a high interest at getting loans or anything for your businesses and so forth on a private, when all the money is going through the public sector, that's going to be tough, and you will have such a high interest rate because your inflation is so high, right? Now, this is not actually a problem if you're operating completely within an autarky, and that seems to be sort of like what Russia is doing. But even if you want to be giving all this commodity-based economy and so forth, they're still very much using the financialization, the money to mobilize and move, right? So the high interest rate is clearly to be getting rid of all the money being mobilized that is being printed out, as far as I can tell. And they might, but I'm wondering, because these things, you don't have such disparities all of a sudden and then expect there to be no ripple effects over the long run, right? They would have had it like this from the get-go if this was sensible. So they are clearly doing this in response to many of the situations they're dealing with. So I'm wondering, what would be, how long would they be able to keep this up? Because I kind of imagine at some point the private sector getting affected hard enough is going to be affecting the economy overall in a manner that maybe the Russians lose the will to persecute the war or something.
Hoping. Just to address what Replacement was saying, I think he's talking about the same video from the Duran that I'm going to talk about now. What is that Nabulina wants to wait for the harvest to lower the interest rates because exactly what Coping is saying is true. They can't have the interest rates that high forever. And what they referenced in the video was that Putin is very fond of Nabulina because Nabulina kind of shares the same opinion as him. And this is what they said. I don't know if this is true, but they kind of really lowered it down to very to a very basic level of they're deathly afraid of 90s level inflation. So they rather be safe than sorry with the interest rates just to keep down inflation. And then they rather deal with any other problems that might come out of it. But like you said, they have to start dropping the interest rates because even Bigari, he talked about it a couple of open mics ago. He said that like people aren't buying houses. The private economy is at a standstill almost. That's what he said.
It's one of those things that you know, if you compare price to price, but you don't consider the cost of money, you know, you're going to be quite misled, right? Like the cost of a house in Russia is X amount of money, but how much does it cost if you want to get a 30-year mortgage on it? I mean, you wouldn't get a 30. What do they have? 21% interest rates.
If you have the money up front,
you know, the
it's no
actual
problem.
cost.
But if you have to get a loan for it, no.
Yeah. No, and so ultimately, right, the interest rates are a reflection of the cost. That they're a reflection of the premium that the government has to pay to get people to give it money. You know, like in order to, if I want to sell bonds, you know, the interest rate is basically, yeah, like if nobody's buying my bonds and I'm the government, I said, hey, I need $1 billion, let me sell, you know, 1 million people $1,000 bond, and nobody's buying my bond, I have to increase the interest rate on that bond progressively. You know, say I'm going to give you a bigger and bigger return because I need that $1 billion. You know, and that's what the government does. And then you have, you know, their central bank, which may step in and buy those bonds for you. That leads to some problems, right? But ultimately, it's a reflection. It's a reflection of how of the confidence in like the long term value of those bonds. Like ultimately, that's what it comes down to. And in Russia, the government has to offer a much higher amount in order to get people to buy it. You know, in the United States, we're heading towards maybe a higher interest rate environment as we see a lessening demand for U.S. bonds. But as it is, our yields are very, very low because our bond demand is very high still compared to Russia. You know, it's the attractiveness of the financial system in a sense. So the central bank could push that up and down. I'm not too familiar with Russia's central bank's policy on this, but yeah, I wouldn't read too much into it.
Sorry to interrupt, Wyatt.
But I think Thomas is basically right that they are afraid of inflation as well.
Well, and I agree. That seems like they're at least prescient enough to try to avoid the pitfall of inflation. Like it's better safe than sorry in that regard. But I came across something else where apparently they admitted to their sovereign wealth fund having diminished quite significantly. I forgot exactly how the numbers were, but like it wasn't particularly big, all things considered, the Russian economy, at least not by Norwegian standard. Like our wealth fund is massive compared to the size of our country. But nonetheless, their wealth fund had generally depleted quite a lot in value. Now, arguably, much of this can be attributed to the seizing of foreign assets, right? Like most of the Norwegian sovereign wealth fund is in investments denominated in dollars outside abroad, right? So I imagine that probably has a lot to do with it. But what about if we're looking at it in the context of the higher inflation? Like, are the Russians depleting capital quicker than they're actually, because they seem to be trying to making measures to peg their currency on gold, right? And they're trying to get gold from Sudan and so forth, but is it really actually helping them that much? Because I kind of get the impression if their sovereign wealth fund is going down and they're having such high interest rates, it is a tremendous strain on their currency.
Well, this is causing inflation of the ruble. However, it is also still largely being kept in check. I don't remember what exactly, but there were like measures enacted to in quote unquote artificially prevent too much inflation in 2022.
So anyway, it's actually 2 hours already. So, what do you guys think about having a Discord open mic every week?
Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
I'm
I love
actually,
it. Yeah.
I think this is not bad, and I wonder, Wyatt, if you I like it. I like it a lot. I think I was really skeptical at first. But I'll tell you what, this is pretty good. I wish it could be live. I would like it to be live. live is great.
And
Discord
life
is
super
great. It has a
dangerous.
different group of people.
The problem
Live
with
is
live is super
dangerous,
dangerous
but you know,
because nobody show faces here, and I made it a point where, because just now I was in a different setting. The other setting is that no, you have to make a request in before you can speak. So everybody else will be audience. But I don't want that. I want
Yeah,
people coming immediately, they can talk, so they can join immediately without making a request, because people can be shy. So
I get you.
the problem is that Discord is full of strangers. We do not know which of them are crazy people. Then no, they might come in and then they open and they just pawn, and then it's like, then I'm on live. Then it's no point. It's too not safe.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah,
Fair,
and-
fair,
And
fair,
then
fair,
they'll
fair.
talk about how
But I like
Jews
it.
rule the world and how Hitler was right. This is what they'll talk about.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh,
So
we can talk about that either way.
yeah, so
Oh, but you know,
but I think-
I do think the Discord is a good thing to as a warming, like as a place for people to kind of like, if you're a little bit shy, you still get to kind of warm up and maybe get it can be a step for you
Yeah.
before you get on the DPA open mic, for example.
and I want people to
you
hang
know,
out in the Discord.
I'll let
server as
everyone
well.
know here, you folks, you faceless people, I used to be one of you, right? The digital persona you know as Coping, he was born on the DPA open mic. That one step I made, and that was it. I used to be
Okay.
very shy of showing my face. Okay, so like, don't be so shy. This is a good place for you to get started.
Yeah, so
Okay,
this is a nice place I think for people to not show their face and talk. But of course, the drawback is that I cannot make this live. It's just way too troublesome. It's very scary to manage something like this live, and no.
Maybe
you
with
don't know-
5-minute delay, you can screen capture it.
Oh,
Put it
so
on
this
YouTube
isn't
with
live.
5-minute delay, so you can still like stop.
Okay.
Yeah, so
No, that's too much.
so this is
but-
recorded.
So
Why
Wyatt,
you
will
the
you
whole
get a
broadcast
regular
thing.
live?
I don't
So
think what
this-
Wyatt, are you
Wait.
still gonna do regular open mics? Maybe
yeah.
a regular open mic could be nice after a short Discord open mic
Correct.
to get
So
people warmed up, and then
yeah, so the plan now is that I have to end this session because I haven't done the thumbnail yet. So I need to go and do the thumbnail, and then I will schedule the real
Wait,
open
wait.
mic that will be live streamed on YouTube. This one will be
Wait,
this one is
wait.
recorded. I will put it on.
Are you gonna have another one too on YouTube? No.
Yeah, that's
okay.
the real one. This is the fake one. This is the pirated version. This is the
I know it's just the fake one here. I know.
Upload the fake one,
Uh,
right? Upload the fake one, you know?
Yeah, I will upload this
Wait,
one.
wait. Wait, I have one more
So-
question. I have one more
Wait,
question.
you guys.
It's the backstage party.
Okay, what is it?
Hi, Judy. Yeah.
Yeah. That's. I'm going to be really blunt here, but does Russia see? Do you think that other countries see Russia as weak because of the whole Ukraine war fiasco?
They
I
used
think-
they
I
used
think
to
so.
think they are weak.
Oh.
Now they don't think they are
Well,
weak.
look, I think that some countries do actually still think Russia is weak, like Hungary. Like Hungary is obviously Russia friendly, but they still say that that there should be a peace deal and that Russia will not be able to take more than Ukraine anyway because Russia is weak. This is Orban's position.
Yeah, so this is the problem when you watch Denis Davidov. No, like you guys need to watch DPA, Ukraine War Report.
No, look, I don't believe this. It's just what Orban thinks, the Hungarian prime minister.
No, I'm no joke. I'm saying the real thing. The
Comrade.
thing is, the even the leaders don't expect them to have the best information. Like I'm not saying like I'm saying for real. Like they don't expect them to have the best information, especially if they are part of NATO, and NATO get the intel report or the reporting
Orban
from
has to
Ukraine,
walk the
and they
thin red
trust the
line, dude.
Ukrainians. So you imagine you are NATO, and then you get the reports directly from Ukraine, and then you trust the Ukrainians, and of course that you think that Ukraine is not doing that badly. You understand what I mean? But
But like at a certain extent, like if they are more powerful, shouldn't they be able to take more land by now?
no, because you
A
must
few years
understand the
in?
strategy. For example,
No, it's about attrition. It's about
The war of
attrition. It's not about
attrition,
land. You don't see that. They wait till they collapse and then they take land.
for example, you play a
Why-
real-time
what is
strategy
the-
game, right? That's what happens. You see,
Because if you fight for every city, you destroy the city. There's nothing left anymore. It's just rubble.
so if you play
Well,
RTS,
I think
right,
that's
for
a good-
example, StarCraft 2, you'll realize that a lot of the battles is actually far away from the base. And then if you look at the professional plays, the moment the main army is destroyed, the losing side will immediately just resign. Because there's no point fighting anymore. They know the war is lost. So what we are seeing right now is that they are fighting away from the base. they're fighting. But the thing is, one side is losing all its army. Then if you lose all your army, then you can't fight anymore. Effectively, you lost the war. You don't. The ground capture is not that important. I'm tracking the ground. I only track the ground capture is because, even if they are fighting an attrition war, the losing side will inevitably fail to defend their lines, and then you will see the fighting.
Don't
like
and then
don't
that give
worry,
us some signals into who is actually winning and losing the war.
Ukraine
Isn't
will
that
invoke
like
the
this?
Ukraine
Wait,
will
let me
invoke
talk.
the power of Bandera, and they will fight a guerrilla war and win that way. It's easy.
By right, actually, that's what Dan Castle say, right? Wild Siberian. Dan Castle was saying that the best way to fight Russia was to allow the Russian to capture the ground, and then you fight a guerrilla war, and then Russia will not be able to hold. The problem is that they decided to fight a attrition war, World War I trench warfare, and that actually is the failure. If you do that, then you can't ambush your enemies. And you're just sitting at the trenches and wait to die.
Okay, if they
So
did
what do you
something
guys-
like a maneuver war like last year, like early last year, they I think they could suppress any potential insurgent, because there were like you didn't know not a lot of people know this, is that there were a lot of pro-Russian people in Ukraine itself.
Oh, I'm quite sure a lot of people know actually.
Earlier in the war.
A lot of people
Yeah,
know.
actually,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway.
Because if you don't do the maneuver war early, you like all those like pro-Russian people, what will happen to them? Discriminated, change their sides, potentially flee Ukraine. Yeah.
But this kind of thing is very hard to tell. You don't know. Like for example, in Russia, there is actually people working for the SBU as well. So you can't tell this kind of thing how it works out. Yeah. So
I think the way you have to break down the Ukrainian population is even.
I only
amongst,
noticed the spike in SBU attacks after Ukraine invaded Kursk. Yeah.
Okay.
I noticed the spike on the SBU attacks in Russian soil. After Ukraine invaded Kursk.
Let me say something about this. This is actually planned by the British. I remember reading in 2022 already that the British are planning together with Ukraine. They were advising Ukraine to launch an attack on Belgorod, which is what happened in May 2023. And Lavrov himself said that Britain is involved in planning those terror acts, those psychological operations with Ukraine against Russia. I think what Britain is trying to achieve is put Putin down from within, to make Putin unpopular by organizing all those terror acts.
Well, why not attack Britain too?
Wait.
Why not do the
Before
same
you
thing?
continue.
Why don't?
Wait. So anyway, I have to end the session of the Discord open mic, but you guys can continue to talk. But I need to stop the recording. I need to leave this place because I need to prepare for the
When
real
is
open mic on YouTube.
Before you
When
do,
is
may
that
I
gonna
ask you a
start?
question?
Sorry?
Is it just
Commander.
a few minutes or?
So if I
Can we
leave,
do
you
the
guys will
open mic in
continue
an
to
hour?
talk. This voice chat is open, so you guys can continue to talk.
You
It's
can
just that
stay here.
But
when is the
He'll
YouTube
leave,
open mic?
he'll leave.
because
Yeah.
I'm recording screen, so I need my screen. I need my screen to do the thumbnail.
But he's asking, when is the
Alright,
open mic? Is it
When
in
is
5
open mic?
minutes? Is it in an hour?
In an hour?
Is it
I
in
guess.
2 hours?
Give me a second to rest.
Yeah, let's do it in an hour.
No, take your time, bro. Take your time, man. I just want to know. That's all.
Yeah. So
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
this is great,
same.
Wyatt. I really like it.
Yeah,
Like,
so
this
I have
is
a
the number-
so the
practical
official
question
part of
regarding the
so the
algorithm.
recorded Discord, so the Discord open mic, the recorded part will be the part where I will be around, and then after that you guys can continue to chit chat. So I think it's a nice thing, for the people to hang out and chit chat rather than just hide in the shadows.
I have a question regarding impressions and the algorithm. Do you know if uploading the stream now, because now it's recorded, right? Do you know if that will affect the impressions on the live stream?
Yeah,
like in the same way,
it will-
if you take
it-
the
the
video
live
back
stream
to
will
back, it will do
it
stuff.
will clash. The two sides will fight for reach. So the live stream for the open mic will have to do alone first. This recorded one will probably upload in 1 or 2 days time, for example. So to give it time
that sounds-
to breathe and Yeah, because if you upload 2 videos at the same time, even on different channels, they will still compete. So
And also, this is a good way to kind of give regular uploads on their DPA open mic. So you have the live streams in the weekend, and you have these Discord recordings, for example,
probably upload on
in
Wednesday,
the
right?
weekdays, for example.
Yeah, maybe I
Oh,
upload
but I
on
think it helps.
Wednesday. No, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
nice. Also a nice place where because I will do only 2 hours at most for the Discord open mic, and then after that people can continue to chit chat. It's a Discord anyway. It doesn't have to have me around. It's just that I wanted to give voices to the people, so more people can hear what we talk here. Just that I cannot do it live. Doing it live is just too dangerous. And anyway, uploading video actually have better reach than live. So that's a weird thing about YouTube as well. So anyway, I will stop recording, and you guys can continue chit chatting. Okay.
Thank you, Wyatt.
And
I'll try to encourage these people
and if
to get
people
on the
watching on
open
YouTube,
mic.
people watching on YouTube, if I uploaded this, come on Discord, link in the description.
Yes.
Hey, wrong music. You must be another one.
Commander Wyatt. What the fuck?